What is going on, guys? Bubba here for a new video, and today I'm be talking about an issue that happened in the Dallas area. One side claiming that they were just trying to pull a practical joke on the other, and the other side claiming that the other side was trying to scam them out of money. It's been making its way all over social media, and there's even a site dedicated just to telling the story of exactly what happened. But one thing before this video starts, if I don't mention this at the beginning of the videos, if I do any kind of inside shot, somebody always makes the comment down in the comments, why am I in this unfinished building? But that's because my house flooded during Harvey, got about 10 feet, and all the ceilings came down. My room, I'm actually working on that now. This is a spare bedroom over here. I have a nice little footage, or a nice little area in the corner of my room where I'm gonna be doing videos, so I'll show y'all whenever my house is done. Now, to give y'all a little bit of backstory, this involves two Dallas area car enthusiast shops. One of the shops is a performance dealership. Pretty much they'll sell higher end cars that are a little bit more expensive, and the other shop is a tuner shop. Pretty much what happened was the dealership of the performance cars, they had a C6 Grand Sport for sale. Well, the tuner shop, Advanced Modern Performance, they were interested in picking up the Corvette, so they sent over two of their employees to look at the Corvette. And I'm just going to refer to them as AMP for the rest of the video, but pretty much AMP, they sent over two of their employees to look at the Corvette they were interested in. The two employees, they actually wanted to take the Corvette back to their place, and they wanted to inspect it there, but the owner of the dealership, he didn't really want them to take the car off site, so he just offered to let them inspect it on his lifts. Now, where the story takes a weird turn is when the Corvette's up there on the lifts and they're doing the inspection, one of the AMP employees, he asks Kevin, which is the owner of the dealership right there, he asks him to go out and look at the Corvette they brought as a possible trade-in. And while they were outside looking at that Corvette, this is what happened.
Yeah, that's why he wanted to put that car back too. Because I was just going to come in the morning, check the filter again, change the filter, and replace the one he put on there. Run the car and see if there's any oil or metal in there.
Now, if you didn't catch it there, what happened was the AMP employee, he went over and he took off the Corvette's oil filter and he brought it over there to the trash can, and in that circular motion he was doing with his arm, he was cutting it in half with a tool he actually brought. Then after he cuts that oil filter in half, he takes something out of his pocket, he looks around, just make sure no one's looking, and that's when he puts the metal shavings right there in the oil filter. Now, by there being metal shavings in the oil filter, that's just a telltale sign that the engine's about to blow. And the owner of the dealership, he actually made the comment, why wasn't the engine making any kind of noise or anything? If it's in that bad condition, why is it making any kind of noise? Well, the AMP employee simply said, sometimes it just doesn't make a noise till it blows. Now, everything up until now has been confirmed by both parties. AMP, they said that yes, their employee did put the metal shavings into the oil filter, but it's not for the same reason that the dealership thinks they did. The dealership thinks that they put the metal shavings in there to save a little bit of money, but by saying that the engine's about to blow, that they can get a little bit better of a deal. Well, AMP, when they got called out for it, their simple response was that it was just a practical joke, and that the owner of the dealership, he was just embarrassed that he got called out in front of his employees, and that he was embarrassed in front of his employees because he didn't know better, I guess. Which is honestly a horrible excuse. They could have made up something better than that. I don't know about y'all, but I've never heard of the old put the metal in the oil filter while the owner isn't looking at the joke. Well, going back to the story, when the AMP employees showed the owner the metal shavings, the owner, he said, hey, just get this car off the lift, we're not going to sell it because the car isn't paid off yet. Well, the AMP employees, when he said that, they said, no, don't do that, we can go ahead and we can fix this car in a day, we have engines lying all around the shop, just for this kind of thing, we still want the car, the body's in great condition, but what kind of deal can we work out, this engine, it's clearly trash, you see all these metal shavings, what can we work out? So they talked for a little bit and came to an agreement, and as the other guys were leaving talking about financing options, the owner of the dealership came back in, saw the security footage, and caught him. Well, as the story was making its rounds on Facebook, the Facebook of AMP, they actually had to be taken down because it was just flooded with negative reviews. Well, when the AMP Facebook was taken down, somebody decided to create another one, and I'll just put a link to their Facebook down in the description, but they are just trolling AMP at a hardcore level. I mean, there are some insane memes out there. And to make matters worse, as the story was growing, there was a previous customer of AMP. They actually posted a picture of their old car. It was a Corvette Z06, a beautiful Corvette. And he actually said how he went to AMP a few years ago and he was getting some engine work done, but AMP, they actually reached out to him and said how his car, his engine was trashed pretty much, and how they cut open his oil filter, same thing, and they saw the same thing, metal shavings all up in there. So the owner, he saw this, and instead of investing into his car and building up his engine, he decided to just sell it for much cheaper than what it was really worth. Well, 3 years later or 2 years later, car's still running. So that guy, he was saying that he really wishes that he would have gotten a second opinion, because honestly, I wouldn't put it past AMP to do this to another car, and who knows how many people's cars they've done this to. And I'm not putting the story out there to bash AMP or for y'all to go and bash AMP or anything like that, but I'm putting the story out there just to educate y'all so that if y'all run into something similar in the future, y'all are ready. Because the scams are definitely out there, especially in the car industry, because it takes money to build these cars up, and people are out there wanting to try to make a quick buck. And now that AMP actually realized that their story wasn't too good, they're just trying to distance themselves from the employee. Now they're trying to say that the two AMP employees that went over there, they went after hours and that they were trying to buy a car for like personal use, and that it wasn't anything to do with the actual business side of AMP. Which that would have been a little bit more believable if that was the original story and that they didn't try to say how, they were just joking, and that 5 minutes later they said how they actually told Kevin how, yeah, it's just a joke, which clearly from the video and from Kevin's account, there was no explanation of, oh, it's just a joke, man. But one more thing before this video is done. The Blast of the Past that was supposed to be this past weekend out there in Sealy, hosted by West Houston Muscle, it has been moved up to next Saturday because of weather. It was storming and everything this past weekend. So the event will be next Saturday. If y'all wanted to race or something, it will be next Saturday. But guys, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like it, please subscribe. And as always, have a great day.